In 1960, while America was captivated by the space race and the promise of a new decade, a quiet revolution was taking place in the heart of General Motors' GMC truck division. Engineers were about to introduce something that had never been seen before in American pickup trucks, a V6 engine specifically designed for commercial duty. This is the story of the GMC 305 V6, a groundbreaking engine that challenged convention and established a legacy of durability that would last for decades. Before we dive into this incredible piece of automotive history, if you love stories about classic American engineering and forgotten engines that changed the industry, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We have plenty more deep dives into legendary power plants coming your way. At the time, American automotive engineering was dominated by inline-6 and V8 configurations. The inline-6 was simple, reliable, and produced decent torque, but it was long and awkward to package. V8 engines offered power and smoothness, but they consumed more fuel and took up considerable space. A V6 offered a compelling middle ground, compact like a V8, torquey like an inline-6, and potentially more fuel-efficient than either when properly designed. The engineers chose a 60-degree cylinder bank angle, a configuration that was smoother than traditional designs and compact enough to fit into existing truck engine bays. This was revolutionary. While V6 engines had existed before, no American manufacturer had ever put one in a pickup truck. The GMC V6 family would become one of the first V6 engines produced by any American company, pioneering a configuration that would eventually dominate the truck market decades later. The decision to use a 60-degree bank angle was particularly inspired. Most V6 engines of the era used 90-degree angles borrowed from V8 architecture, which created significant vibration issues. The 60-degree design, while requiring more complex manufacturing, delivered much smoother operation, crucial for trucks that would spend long hours on the road or idling at job sites. The 305 cubic inch version, with a displacement of 5.0 liters, became the foundation of the entire GMC V6 family. The specifications were impressive for the era. It had a 4.25-inch bore and a 3.58-inch stroke. This bore-to-stroke ratio was carefully calculated to provide optimal torque characteristics for truck duty. The relatively short stroke meant the engine could rev reasonably well for its size, while the large bore allowed for bigger valves and better breathing. But the real innovation was in the details, the kind of engineering decisions that do not show up in advertising, but make all the difference in the real world. The engine featured aluminum pistons for improved cooling and heat dissipation, a significant advancement at a time when many truck engines still relied on cast iron pistons. The crankshaft and bearings were massively over-engineered for superior durability, with bearing surfaces far larger than displacement alone would dictate. The connecting rods were forged steel units built to withstand the constant stress of commercial operation. Perhaps most innovative was the high-mounted camshaft design. It sat in a constant bath of oil, eliminating the possibility of dry starts that could damage the cam. This was decades before such designs became common in modern engines. The camshaft location also simplified the valvetrain, reducing the number of moving parts and potential failure points. Each piston had 4 rings, 3 compression rings, and 1 oil ring, providing exceptional sealing and longevity. This was more than most engines of the era, reflecting GMC's commitment to durability over cost savings. The cylinder walls received special attention with a crosshatch honing pattern that helped retain oil and reduce wear. The lubrication system was equally impressive. The stock oil pump could deliver an incredible 14 gallons per minute, far more capacity than the engine typically needed, which meant it could maintain pressure even under extreme conditions or as internal clearances increased with wear. The oil filter was a full-flow design, ensuring that every drop of oil circulating through the engine passed through filtration. The The cooling system was similarly over-engineered. The water pump flowed 135 gallons per minute, and GMC's advertising claimed there was no more than a 4-degree temperature variation anywhere in the cooling system, a testament to exceptional thermal management. The radiator cores were sized generously, and the fan was carefully matched to provide adequate airflow even at idle when hauling heavy loads in summer heat. If you have not yet hit the subscribe button, remember to do so now and never miss out on our automotive stories. The 305 came in several versions, each tailored to specific applications and customer needs. The 305A, introduced as standard equipment from 1960 to 1961 for the 1,000 to 3,500 series trucks, produced 150 horsepower at 3,600 RPM and a stout 260 pound-feet of torque at just 1,600 RPM. Power came from a single-barrel carburetor, simple, reliable, and easy to maintain. This version was designed for operators who valued dependability and fuel economy over outright power. The 305D replaced it in 1962, becoming the new standard. It featured refinements based on the first 2 years of field experience, with improved sealing and slightly revised cam timing for better drivability. Later, the 305E variant appeared with a 2-barrel carburetor, boosting output to 170 horsepower at 4,000 RPM and 263 pound-feet of torque. This version appealed to operators who needed performance for highway driving or heavier loads, and it became particularly popular in delivery trucks that spent significant time at higher speeds. The beauty of the 305 was its versatility. It could power a half-ton pickup for a rancher making runs to town, a 1-ton flatbed for a plumbing contractor, or a larger truck hauling equipment to construction sites. The broad torque curve meant it pulled strongly from low engine speeds while still having enough top-end power to maintain highway speeds when loaded. The 305 was just the beginning. GMC developed an entire family of engines based on this 60-degree architecture, sharing tooling, manufacturing processes, and many internal components. This allowed GMC to offer the right engine for every application while maintaining economies of scale that made the program viable. The 351 cubic inch version arrived for medium-duty applications, offering more displacement and torque for heavier trucks. The 401 cubic inch variant followed for heavy-duty work, becoming popular in dump trucks and delivery vehicles that needed substantial power. Then came the 478 cubic inch V6. With a staggering 5.125-inch bore, one of the largest ever used in a V6, the 478 Magnum produced 254 horsepower and 442 pound-feet of torque. This was an engine designed for dump trucks, heavy haulers, and buses. The massive displacement meant it could generate tremendous torque at low revolutions per minute, perfect for moving heavy loads from a standing start. Some were even repurposed as industrial generators and agricultural irrigation pumps, where their reliability and torque characteristics proved ideal. But GMC engineers were not done. In an act of true engineering ambition, they created the 702 cubic inch V12 Twin 6. Contrary to popular belief, this was not two V6 engines welded together. It was a purpose-built design on a single block casting. It used 4 exhaust manifolds, 2 carburetors, 2 distributor caps driven by a single distributor, and shared 56 major parts with the V6 family. Output was 275 horsepower with a massive 630 pound-feet of torque. Fewer than 5,000 were built, and fewer than 200 are believed to exist today, making them extremely rare to collectors. GMC even developed a 637 cubic inch V8 using this architecture, with a balance shaft to compensate for the less than ideal 60-degree configuration for a V8. It remains the largest displacement production gasoline 5.8 ever made for highway trucks, a record that still stands today. Now, if you're thinking I had no idea GMC built engines this wild, you are not alone. That's exactly why this channel exists, to uncover these incredible stories from automotive history. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss upcoming episodes on other forgotten engines that deserve to be remembered. School districts across America relied on GMC buses powered by these V6 engines. The 305 became a proven choice in buses produced before 1970, usually paired with 5-speed manual transmissions. These buses served students for decades, many accumulating hundreds of thousands of miles with minimal issues. The engines proved remarkably tolerant of the stop-and-go duty cycle of school bus operation, with frequent cold starts and extended idling periods. Farm operations loved them too. One documented case involves a 1960 GMC grain truck that served a farm for decades. When the original engine finally gave up, the farmer simply transplanted a 305 from a GMC pickup, and the truck continued hauling grain for many more years. This interchangeability within the engine family was one of its great strengths. Parts availability and the ability to rebuild or swap engines kept trucks working when other manufacturers' products might have been retired. Construction companies found the 305 ideal for dump trucks and equipment haulers. The low RPM torque meant drivers did not have to rev engines hard to move heavy loads, which reduced wear and fuel consumption. Delivery companies appreciated the reliability. Trucks started every morning and completed their routes without drama. Interestingly, the 305 had one quirk. It was heavy for its displacement. The various GMC V6 engines shared the same basic block architecture, meaning the 305 weighed nearly as much as the larger 351. According to GMC replacement engine catalogs, the 305A weighed 738 pounds, while the 305E tipped the scales at 795 pounds. This gave it a poor power-to-weight ratio compared to the larger displacement variants. Before we get into what happened to this remarkable engine, I want to ask you a quick favor. If you are finding value in this deep dive into automotive history, please take a second to subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continue producing this kind of detailed content about the engines and vehicles that shaped America's automotive landscape. The 305 served as GMC's standard pickup truck engine from 1960 through 1969. But change was coming. By the mid-1960s, General Motors was beginning to align GMC more closely with Chevrolet. The writing was on the wall. The economics were simple but harsh. The GMC V6 family, with its unique design and specialized parts, was expensive to produce. Chevrolet's inline 6 and V8 engines, produced in much higher volumes, offered better economies of scale. The fuel economy of the heavy V6 engines could not compete with the lighter, more modern designs coming from Chevrolet. Additionally, emissions regulations were tightening, and developing the GMC V6 family to meet new standards would have required significant investment. In 1974, GMC discontinued the V6 engine family entirely. All gasoline-powered GMC models would now use Chevrolet engines. The era of GMC's unique power plants was over. The diesel versions had already been dropped from medium-duty models and would not return until 1976. It was the end of GMC's independence in engine design. From that point forward, GMC would essentially become a premium-trimmed version of Chevrolet trucks, rather than a distinct brand with its own engineering identity. Today, original GMC trucks powered by the 305 V6 are highly sought after by collectors. Finding one with a numbers-matching original engine is increasingly rare. Many were swapped for Chevrolet VAV8 engines over the years, as parts became scarce and the appeal of readily available small-block Chevy components proved irresistible. But there is a dedicated community of enthusiasts who preserve these engines. Online forums maintain extensive technical documentation. Specialists have emerged who understand the unique requirements of these power plants and can source the increasingly rare parts needed to keep them running. The GMC 305 V6 represents a fascinating chapter in American automotive history. It was born in an era when General Motors encouraged its divisions to innovate and develop unique solutions. It proved that a V6 could be a viable truck engine, a lesson that modern manufacturers have taken to heart, as V6 engines now power millions of pickups and SUVs around the world. The smoothness of that 60-degree design, the over-engineered durability, and the focus on torque over horsepower, these were not just specifications. They represented a philosophy of building trucks that would last. As GMC historian Donald Meyer noted, owners reported more than 450,000 miles on original engines. In an era before synthetic oils, electronic engine management, or advanced metallurgy, that kind of longevity was extraordinary. The GMC 305 V6 may have been discontinued nearly 50 years ago, but its influence lives on. It proved that thinking differently could yield exceptional results. It showed that American engineering could create something truly innovative, and it provided decades of reliable service to truck owners who asked nothing more than for their trucks to start every morning and get the job done. This was the GMC 305 V6, regarded as America's first truck V6, and a reminder of an era when each General Motors division had the freedom to engineer its own destiny. Thanks for watching this deep dive into the GMC 305 V6. If you enjoyed learning about this pioneering engine, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. We have more stories about forgotten American engines, legendary power plants, and the engineering innovations that shaped the automotive world. Drop a comment and let me know. Did you or someone you know ever own a GMC truck with one of these V6 engines? I would love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep the legends alive.